Donald Trump shocked the nation with bombshell evidence linking Jack Smith to a multi-million-dollar fraud operation. In this explosive expose, Trump laid it all bare in a live studio session, and now legal consequences were looming. Watch as the scandal unfolds with jaw-dropping revelations that you weren't supposed to see. The camera light blinked red, live. Donald J. Trump sat at a wide oak desk in a packed studio, his face serious, voice calm but with something deeper behind his eyes. He gently placed a red folder on the desk and said 5 words: "The truth must come out." The nation held its breath. Staff in the control room whispered, "Is this about Jack Smith?" Even Trump's closest aides looked stunned. He opened the folder. Inside was a single photo, a grainy image of Jack Smith sitting at a lavish dinner with 2 convicted international fraudsters. The photo was time-stamped just a week before Jack Smith was appointed special counsel. Trump leaned forward and whispered into the mic, "I've been quiet for too long." The screen faded to black, then returned with Trump's voice, steady as he held up a series of bank records. These records were simple printouts, highlighted names, matching dates, offshore accounts, and millions of dollars tied to shell companies, all connected to Jack Smith. "I watched my country be divided, investigated, accused, and lied to," Trump said. "While this man was secretly funneling money through fake causes. This isn't about law, it's about power." The audience was silent. An older woman in the front row started crying. Trump paused and added, "This isn't about revenge, it's about saving the truth." A second photo appeared on the screen. Jack Smith in a private jet, next to a man under investigation for child trafficking. The next slide wasn't a photo. It was a calendar screenshot showing a private meeting 4 days before Trump's indictment. Trump explained, "They planned it, planned every step before the charges ever dropped." The studio fell silent. Trump placed an old voice recorder on the desk. Click. The voice of Jack Smith echoed through the room. "We just need a few headlines to distract. He'll fall in line." Trump looked directly into the camera. "I didn't fall in line. I stood up, and now the world will know what you did." Viewers across America flooded the live stream chat, typing, "Is this real?" and "Why hasn't this been on the news?" Trump continued, "My family begged me not to release this. They're scared. But I love this country more than I fear them." He wiped a tear from his eye and the broadcast continued. Trump then introduced Harold, an elderly man in his 70s who stood up, clutching a folded American flag. "This is Harold," Trump said. "His son worked for Jack Smith. He's no longer with us." Harold's voice cracked as he spoke. "My son believed in the law. He didn't know what he was walking into. When he found out, he tried to come forward. 3 days later, he died in a car fire." The studio fell silent. Trump placed his hand on Harold's shoulder and promised, "We'll finish what your son started." Harold handed Trump his son's journal, which contained disturbing details. "Jack Smith created a hidden pipeline," Trump read from the journal. "Government grants funneled to fake charities, then laundered through offshore crypto wallets." Trump paused, holding up an "See it." Trump plugged the flash drive into a laptop, and a hidden camera feed appeared. The footage showed Jack Smith talking on the phone, saying, "The president will fold. He always does. This time, I've got it wrapped in legal bows." Trump paused the footage. "That was 2 days before he tried to have me indicted again." Next, a second clip appeared showing Jack Smith receiving a briefcase filled with foreign currency. "This isn't about me anymore," Trump said. "This is about the soul of our nation." As the screen faded, a young woman, Anna, walked onto the stage holding a framed photo of her father. My father worked in internal audits at the DOJ, Anna said, crying. 2 years ago, he discovered a gap in funds. He flagged it. He didn't know it was tied to Jack Smith. 3 days later, they found him in the river. They called it suicide, but my dad didn't know how to swim. Anna handed Trump a safety box filled with photos, ledgers, and documents, all linking Smith to fraudulent activity. Trump read aloud. One transfer stood out. $2.7 million wired to a nonprofit in the Netherlands. The nonprofit was fake. Trump showed satellite images of an abandoned warehouse, the supposed address of the nonprofit. They weren't just stealing. They were laundering public trust. Trump held up a badge belonging to a retired federal security officer named Walter. Walter had a story to tell. I worked nights. I saw Jack Smith come in when no one else was around. They brought boxes, laptops, and burned papers in the parking lot barrels. Walter displayed a photo he had taken of Smith by a black SUV, handing a folder to a man in military uniform. Walter kept this photo hidden, Trump said. He feared for his life. Trump turned to the camera. This is only the beginning. The crowd was deeply moved, and as the studio dimmed, Trump reached for a small, yellowed envelope. Inside was a letter from a judge who passed away years ago, warning Trump about Jack Smith's corruption. Trump read it aloud. You will be hated for speaking the truth, but do not stop. There are wolves in the system, and I've seen one. His name is Jack Smith. The audience gasped. Trump held up a folder containing more evidence. Wire transfer logs, each entry marked confidential, all tied to cases where Trump had been falsely blamed. They framed me, Trump said, to cover their tracks. Just as the studio began to settle, Trump showed a final clip. Jack Smith speaking off mic saying, "We shape public opinion. That's the real courtroom." Trump turned to the camera. This is how they erased people. Who'd people win? Trump smiled softly, then received a tablet from a staff member. The Whistleblower files. They've just gone live. The screen flashed with thousands of internal DOJ documents, tracing back to Jack Smith and a global network of fraud. Trump held the tablet up to the camera. You don't have to believe me anymore. Believe your own eyes. The crowd stood, tears and applause filling the room. This is what truth looks like, Trump said, holding up a new federal arrest warrant for Jack Smith. Jack Smith is no longer above the law. The studio erupted into cheers. This isn't revenge, Trump said. It's justice.